I mean, Terence Crawford has had an amazing career against a lot of very good fighters and world-class fighters, and honestly has barely lost a round. When you look back at Bud Crawford's career, there is something really special.
There's nothing to do, but damn, like, what else do you gotta do? he's a 3-time undisputed champion.
Hey man, you looking small. What you mean I'm looking small? You looking small. Like, it's just that, like, you gotta really hurt that dude to turn him away and to try to stop him from doing what he want to do. So skillful, yes, but this and this.
Fighters fear Terence Crawford for more than just his talent. As Roy Jones Jr. pointed out, even Canelo showed nerves facing him at the stare-down. What makes Crawford truly intimidating is his composure. He stays ice-cold while analyzing every move, barely gets touched cleanly, and punishes even the smallest mistakes with flawless timing. Against him, opponents are left feeling hopeless, as if victory is impossible.
And that stare down that we talked about, when I told you either he's not ready for this or he trying to Bud. He wasn't trying to little boy Bud. He really was afraid. Well, not afraid, but he was worried about Bud. And Bud knew that. And Bud being the older guy, Bud kind of looked him in his eye and made him turn away first. That was a victory for Bud. That was Bud's first victory. Anytime that happens, if something else don't come around or something else don't happen to undo that, you got a problem.
Paulie Malignaggi praised Terence Crawford for crafting one of the most extraordinary resumes in boxing. Becoming an undisputed champion in 3 divisions, a rarity in the modern era, Crawford earned his legacy by taking on elite opponents rather than easy matchups. What stood out to Paulie wasn't just the victories, but the way Crawford dominated while barely taking clean shots. His flawless record of 41 wins, with 31 knockouts and no defeats, speaks volumes. Malignaggi called this run historic, and noted that Crawford's recent triumph over Canelo was more than just another win. It felt like the dawn of a new era. Much like Mayweather once defined his generation, Paulie believes Crawford has now become the face of his.
Flawless. I mean, Terence Crawford has had an amazing career against a lot of very good fighters and world-class fighters, and honestly has barely lost a round. When you look back at Bud Crawford's career, there is something really special. It's one of those things now, because now I've now seen back-to-back generations of Floyd Mayweather and Bud Crawford, and man, you know, it's one of those things where now I understand why the people that lived in the Ray Leonard era say, you know, wish we could see Ray Leonard against Mayweather, and how that would be. Because it just leaves such an empty feeling when you have such special fighters that were in different generations, and you saw both of them. You know, I saw the entirety of the Mayweather generation. I saw the entirety of the Bud Crawford generation. Just incredible. Really, really incredible. And I know Mayweather gets a lot of hate, but for me, he's a tremendous fighter. And Terence Bud Crawford is in that realm as well. And it's a fight we'll never get to see. So what are we going to do, you know? It'll be up to the fantasy fights, you know? But let's get into it, man. I want to get into the undercard as well and some of my thoughts on the Netflix show. But let's get into the main event first. Crawford really boxed very, very well, very, very intelligently. The question mark was what happens when Crawford gets hit cleanly. I'm not sure he got hit cleanly the whole fight. You know, he got hit with some partial shots. Some shots landed cleanly, but by the time Canelo started landing anything cleanly, I think he was hesitant because he was getting countered so much that he was taking some of the steam off the shots in order to hope to be more accurate. Because even late in the fight, there were a couple of shots that Canelo landed, but they barely moved.
Brian described watching Terence Crawford against Canelo as extraordinary, noting that it's rare to see such a perfect balance of defense and offense in modern boxing. Most fighters shine in one area while sacrificing the other, but Crawford executed both with precision. He neutralized Canelo's attacks with slick movement and a tight guard, then seamlessly shifted into offense to capitalize on every opening. Brian emphasized that this complete package sets Crawford apart. He not only shuts down an opponent's weapons but also builds momentum of his own. For him, it was remarkable to witness a fighter who could avoid damage while dominating an elite rival with such calm control and skill.
See, I think that for me, I watch defense as much as I watch offense. So
yeah,
like I thought like watching Bud catch those shots off his glove.
He looked amazing.
So amazing.
Yeah, he looked good.
Yeah. He'd go to a body and he'd catch that and come up with an uppercut. You know, just all those things that seem.
He looked great.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody do that to ever.
No one has. Yeah, he's the best.
Canelo.
Yeah,
Ever.
he's the best.
And I think he would do that to Canelo on his best day. And Canelo said it. He goes, "I couldn't figure him out,"
No,
which is why he probably won't fight him again. In a way.
they'll fight again.
You think so?
The payday, yeah. But so you're gonna get Canelo because the money's in Canelo Crawford, the rematch.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it, but I want Crawford to get paid, so might as well do it.
Andre Ward offered glowing praise for Terence Crawford, calling him the most skillful fighter of his generation. A master technician himself, Ward emphasized Crawford's mindset, noting that once he decides on a goal, he'll do whatever it takes to achieve it. In Ward's view, the only way to stop someone like Crawford is to truly hurt him in the ring. Tactics and tricks alone won't work. His adaptability, seamless stance switches, and ability to think clearly under pressure place him in a rare class of fighters who can impose their will in any situation. Ward made it clear that Crawford's success is no accident. It comes from determination, grit, and an unwavering drive to conquer every challenge.
Somebody that like I can bet the house on is Bud.
Who's the most skilled fighter today?
Bud is definitely one of them for sure. Me and him, we so much alike in our mentality. Like soon as I see this dude, he come in the room or I come in the room, we start arguing about basketball, wrestling, anything, bro. Like, man, you can't, man, you looking small. What you mean I'm looking small? You looking small. Like, it's just that, like, you gotta really hurt that dude to turn him away and to try to stop him from doing what he want to do. So skillful, yes, but this and this,
yeah.
it's different, man.
Crawford's journey has been deeply personal, shaped by the influence of his family. He often recalls how his father instilled belief in him early on, predicting that he would one day become an undisputed champion. His mother, on the other hand, remained doubtful, never fully convinced he could reach the top. Rather than discouraging him, her skepticism became fuel for his drive. Every time Crawford stepped into the ring, he carried the determination to prove her wrong. With each victory and every title earned, he not only fulfilled his father's vision but also earned his mother's pride. Today, he looks back on that path with gratitude, proud that his success brought validation and respect from both parents.
My dad used to tell my mom I was going to be a world champ.
I told me we would be.
How'd that make you feel? It filled me with rage. And every time I stepped foot in the ring or anything that I ever did, I just wanted to win so bad so I can prove a point to her.
I paid the kids, I said, if y'all can whoop Bud, I give y'all $10 a piece. Couldn't whoop him.
You went out on the street.
Yeah.
What's now Bud Crawford Street.
Yeah.
And offered $10 to anyone who can kick my son's butt.
Yep.
And a lot of takers.
Yeah,
no
kids in the neighborhood. Couldn't nobody whoop him.
What did he tell you then?
He told you, Mom, I told you I'm the best.
Reflecting on his career choices, Crawford explained that he never aimed to become undisputed at 154 pounds because he didn't see enough meaningful competition there. For him, collecting belts only matters if it's done against the best opponents available. Instead of settling at 154, he chose the bold path of moving up to 168, where the challenges are tougher and the names bigger, fights that can truly add to his legacy. His decision not to move down highlights his confidence and commitment to testing himself at higher weight classes, proving that his career is driven by risk and ambition, not comfort or easy victories.
Has being undisputed at 154 ever crossed your mind at this point that you at in your career?
Not at all, because I'm looking at the landscape of the 154-pound division. There's a lot of great fighters, but there's not a lot of defining fights at 154. There's not a lot of legacy fights at 154. You know, when I'm looking at the landscape of 154, I beat, what's his name?
Majimov? No, 154?
No. The champion that just knocked out Tim Tszyu.
Oh, Bachram. Yeah.
Okay, so Bachram, they're going to say, who was Bachram?
Facts.
He knocked out Tim Tszyu that already had losses.
I would put you down with Fedora, though.
But Fedora already been knocked out.
Yeah, he did.
So, along my career, I've been criticized and people have taken credit away from me just to try to diminish my accomplishments, just off of pure hate.
Crawford often takes time to showcase the belts he has earned, not as empty bragging, but as a reflection of years of dedication and sacrifice. To him, each title represents more than just a win, it carries the weight of the struggles, setbacks, and hard work behind it. Displaying those belts is his way of reminding both fans and critics that nothing was ever given to him, every piece of gold was earned through grit, discipline, and resilience. For Crawford, they stand as proof of his belief in himself and as inspiration for the next generation of fighters striving to carve their own path to greatness.
I'm just reflecting on all my accomplishments at my mama house. That's where all my belts at. You know, hard work, dedication. Things that y'all favorite fighters, some of them, ain't got. So I see why y'all mad. See why y'all mad. Ooh, look at that one right there. This where it all started at. Right here. This one. In Texas. In Texas, baby. Don't hate. Just congratulate.
Virgil Ortiz Jr., a rising star in his own right, praised Crawford's latest performance as nothing short of beautiful. He felt Crawford had already proven everything in that fight, with no need to chase more opponents to validate his greatness. In Ortiz's view, Crawford's legacy is firmly secured, and new challenges aren't necessary for him to be remembered among the best. Coming from a young, ambitious fighter, this admiration highlights just how deeply Crawford's dominance has impacted the new generation, leaving them in awe of his accomplishments.
Perfect fight actually. He neutralized all of Canelo's strengths. He knew that he was gonna look for the right hook, because I believe that they've been looking at Crawford being hurt by that right hook before. So he neutralized it. He used his jab really well. He boxed beautifully, and man, I mean he did everything right. Yeah.
Now, let's talk about Crawford first, because obviously we can get to Canelo later, but in the post-fight, they asked him, a media member asked him if he'd come back down to 154 to fight Boots. Obviously, in the same token, I took it as, all right, Boots or Virgil, right? And he said he's not coming back down to 154. What are your thoughts on him not coming down, and what do you think he will more than likely do next?
I don't know what he's gonna do. I did read something that said he'll go down to 160. You know, and I think that is definitely a possibility, and you know that fight can still happen at 160. And as far as what he's gonna do now, I mean, I don't know. He kind of beat the final boss of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's kind of nothing. I don't want to say there's nothing to do, but damn, like, I mean, what else do you got to do? he's a 3-time undisputed champion. He made some good money. At this point, he's just a free player right now. I guess he can do whatever he wants.